everyone. Welcome to This One's Dedicated To. I'm Jennifer Ziegler.
And I'm Chris Barton, and today we are joined by the author of Tonight, the Streets Are Ours, the YA novel by Leila Sales. Hello, Leila. How are you?
Hi, Chris. Hi, Jenny. I'm good.
Welcome. Thanks so much for being here. So to kick us off, would you please read aloud the dedication in your book?
I would be delighted. All right. It says, dedicated to Kendra Levin for everything we share. And then there is a Venn diagram that I'll show you in a moment. And on one side of the Venn diagram, it says Leila S. Sales. And on the other side, it says Kendra L. Levin. And in the middle, it says has middle initial. That is the same as first letter of last name.
That's the first Venn diagram we've had on this show.
That is original.
That's why I chose this book for us to talk about when you put out the call. And I was like, oh, it's not my most recent book. It's not my best known book, but it is the one with the best dedication because it has a Venn diagram.
And that's what we're curious about. So what can you tell us about Kendra and why the book is dedicated to her?
So Kendra is one of my dearest friends, and she also works in book publishing. So she and I have known each other, oh my gosh, well, since I started working at Penguin. I started my career at Penguin Young Readers, the publisher, and I started out in marketing, and Kendra worked down the hall. She was an editorial assistant when I was a marketing assistant. And I was just like, she's so cool. And I have a diary entry from whatever this was, 2007, being like, I wish she would be my friend. And right. And then we did start to become friends. And so then when she was getting promoted, she said to me, she was like, listen, the assistant position at Viking is going to open up. And I think, she knew I wanted to get out of marketing and into editorial. So she was like, I think you should apply for this I think you should apply for this editorial assistant position that I'm going to be vacating when I move up. So I did, and I got it. And so then for years and years, Kendra and I worked together at Viking, and I was always just one level below her. Yeah, and it was great. So we just she was my best friend, but also was my work wife. And so we were in adjoining cubicles. And then when we got offices, we were in offices just across the hall from each other. And so we could just be in constant communication. And we were living in Brooklyn and Park Slope, and we lived a block away from each other. So we just we just got to, and we still are those are the best years of our lives because we got to do everything together. And then we also, not only did we live a block away, and we, worked for the same department doing, very similar work, but also we had all sorts of other commonalities that formed a foundation for our friendship.
Besides the middle initial, that there was more.
Right, well, that was the joke of it. Exactly. Because we both are only children. We're both Jewish. We both grew up in Massachusetts. We both we both went to pretty similar high schools. I actually had considered going to her high school. And just all sorts of sort of feeling oh, we were meant to be. So that's why it was so funny, the idea that the one thing that we would call out that we shared in common was that our middle initial started with the same letter as our last name. And I actually, in preparation for this conversation that we are having right now, I went through my files and I found the original Venn diagram that this one is based on. So this is something that Kendra made for me when we were working across the hall from each other. And it's hard to read, but it says Leila S. Sales on one side and Kendra L. Levin on the other, and has middle initial that is the same as first letter of last name. In the middle. So when I decided to dedicate the book to her, I scanned that and sent it to my editor, and I was like, this is what I would like. And then she returned with the designed typeset version of the Venn diagram. She was like, no one can read Kendra's handwriting. And I was like, I can read Kendra's handwriting. And she was like, yeah, because you have years of practice reading Kendra's handwriting all the time. But for everybody else, we're going to do a nice design version.
So Kendra basically co-wrote her own dedication.
Oh, I mean, she literally like she wrote this. This
Well,
is
I mean,
I I don't remember what inspired her to write this, but she like just left it on my desk one day and I hung it up on my bulletin board and it was like, great, done.
to be fair, you did write the part that says dedicated to Kendra Levin and for everything we share.
Everything we share. I did write that part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And then
want
and
to
also
celebrate.
and the rest of the book, I wrote that as well. So
Just yeah.
I
Oh, that.
contributed something. Yeah.
At what point did you know you wanted to dedicate this book to Kendra?
It's a good question. Really early on, I think. I tend to dedicate my books like there is some overlap between what the book is about and who I dedicate it to. Um, but I tend to think more about like who is playing an important role in my life and also like who plays an important role in my life who I haven't yet honored in a previous dedication, you know? So this was my what was this? This was my fourth or fifth book, I think. Um, and I had not yet dedicated a book to Kendra, and she's really important to me. And is also really important to my writing career. Like she, you know, she read the first book that I published, she read back in manuscript form and wrote me an editorial letter for it. And like, to be clear, she's, you know, she is a professional editor. Like now, I don't think she would do that. Now, neither she nor I have like the bandwidth or the time in our schedules to be like writing free editorial letters. But at the time, she was like, "Sure, like I'm an associate editor. Like I got time." And I, you know, and she just like really cared about me and about my career getting off the ground. So it was
Oh,
the first proper editorial letter I ever received. I mean, now she's like, you know, she's a extremely high up ranking editor at a major publisher. So like, uh, really fortunate that she did that. Anyway, but yeah, so I, you know, I adore her personally and professionally. She was very helpful to me. So it was like, okay, she's due for her acknowledgement.
in your book, there is a person who publishes a book.
Yes.
And I am wondering who you think this person dedicated their book to.
Oh my gosh. That's such a great question. I've never thought about that. Um, there is a person who dedicates the book who publishes a book. It is not our main character, I can say that. Um, I mean, maybe they would dedicate it to this girl who they are obsessed with in the hopes of winning her back. I could see that. Um, or maybe to their family. No, but like I said, I think a dedication is sacrosanct. And, you know, as an editor, as I was saying, not only would I not critique it, like I wouldn't even ask questions about it. When I get in a dedication, I don't even say like, oh, I see this is dedicated to Lisa. Who's Lisa? Like it's, you know, I sort of feel like that's none of my business. So yeah.